That's a gorgeous car, Emma, my mom said, stroking the shiny red paint of my sister's new BMW. You really earned this with all your hard work. I stood there, arms crossed, watching as Emma soaked up the attention, swinging her new car keys around like they were priceless. I'm Olivia Mitchell, 24 years old, and I just watched my college savings get spent on a car for my younger sister. Isn't it amazing? Emma squealed, clicking her heels on the concrete as she circled her new car. The dealership said it was the last one in this color. It had to be mine. Of course, it had to be hers. That's how things worked in our family. If Emma wanted something, Emma got it, even if it wasn't hers to begin with. Well, it was the smart choice, my dad said, putting an arm around Emma. Your sister wasn't going to use that money for anything useful. At least now it's going to good use. I bit my tongue. My plans for an MBA weren't considered useful by them. Never mind that I'd worked full-time for 3 years while earning my degree with honors. Never mind that I'd been accepted into 3 top programs. No, according to them, Emma's new car was more important than my future. Don't look so upset, Olivia, Mom said, noticing my face. Emma needs a good car for her new job. Ah, yes, the new job at our dad's company, Mitchell Industries, where I had worked my way up from the mailroom, but Emma needed a BMW for her first real job. Of course, I said, keeping my tone calm. Congrats, Emma. She didn't even look at me, too busy taking selfies with her new car. Thanks, maybe if you work hard enough, you can get one too someday. Our parents laughed at her little jab, as they always did when Emma reminded me of my place in the family. I checked my watch, ready to leave. My laptop pinged with an email from my lawyer, confirming everything was ready for the shareholders' meeting. I'd already arranged for a few board members, who were worried about Dad's leadership but didn't know there was an alternative, to be present. A knock at the door interrupted me. It was Sarah from accounting, one of the few people who saw my potential early on and became a mentor. I saw Emma's new car on Instagram, she said, closing the door behind her. Your college fund. I nodded. Sarah knew the whole story. Your dad's going to regret that, she said, sitting across from me. Have you told them anything? Not a word, I replied, turning my laptop to show her the company's latest financials. Look at this, profits are down 15% because Dad gave Emma's boyfriend startup an exclusive contract. The board's getting restless. Sarah frowned as she looked at the numbers. It's worse than I thought. You ready for this? I gestured to the walls covered in research and plans. I've been ready for years. The question is, are they ready for me? They're not, Sarah smiled. That's what makes this interesting. We spent hours reviewing reports and finalizing strategies. Around noon, my phone buzzed again, a text from Emma. Dad's taking me shopping for office furniture. He says I need something for my promotion. I raised an eyebrow. Did you hear about this promotion? Sarah rolled her eyes. Your dad announced it yesterday. Emma's heading the new marketing division, with no experience. Of course, I muttered. She wouldn't earn anything. The rest of the day went quickly, and when I left the office, I saw Emma's new BMW parked in the executive spot Dad had probably assigned to her. 3 months, I thought. Everything changes in 3 months. That evening, I got an invite to a family dinner, likely celebrating Emma's promotion. I thought about skipping it, but decided against it. I'd sat through their jabs and favoritism for years. What was one more dinner? At my parents' house, Emma was holding court, telling them about her first week at work. She'd told Jennifer, you know that woman from HR? Her presentation needed more flair. My father beamed at her. Of course, Princess, you have natural leadership instincts. I sat quietly, wondering if anyone else saw the irony in praising leadership in someone who'd never led anything. Oh, Olivia, my mother said, noticing me. We were just talking about Emma's brilliant ideas for restructuring marketing. Fascinating, I muttered, taking the glass of wine she handed me. And what experience do you have for these plans? I asked. Emma hesitated, then said, well, I took a marketing class last semester, and Daddy says fresh eyes are more valuable than experience. How convenient, I said, sipping my wine. Olivia, Dad warned, his usual disappointment in his voice, don't be bitter just because Emma has vision. Not all of us are natural leaders. I thought about the shares in my briefcase and the changes coming to Mitchell Industries. No, I said quietly, we can't all be natural leaders. Some of us have to earn it. The next 2 weeks flew by with more preparation and observation. Emma, now the marketing director, was making everyone miserable by ordering expensive furniture and pushing out experienced employees. Sarah reported, she made Jessica cry again. Your sister told Jessica she doesn't understand modern consumers because she pointed out the new campaign was over budget. I asked, shaking my head. Let me guess, Dad sided with Emma? He did, Sarah replied. Jessica needs to be more open to fresh perspectives. She gave me a sarcastic look. Half the marketing team is updating their resumes. I made a note in my planner. Tell Jessica to hold off until after the shareholders' meeting, things will change then. Sarah looked at me knowingly. Your dad's been asking about the proxy votes. He's nervous. He should be, I said, showing her the latest numbers. The board's upset about last quarter's performance. Add in Emma's promotion and the employees leaving, and it's a perfect storm. Sarah finished reading I own 51% of Mitchell Industries, and today, the board voted to make me the CEO. The room was completely silent. That's impossible, my father finally whispered. Is it? I asked. Did you ever wonder why Stanley Wright's shares were missing from the reports? Or why so many small shareholders have been selling their shares over the years? Did you notice? Emma pointed at me, shaking. You planned this for 5 years. I did, I said, ever since you started talking about changing the company, but did nothing about it, and since Dad made it clear that being his favorite mattered more than actual ability. We gave you everything, my mother said. No, I corrected, you gave Emma everything, including my college fund. I built this up myself, share by share, while you were all too busy celebrating her mediocrity. My father stood up, face red with anger. I won't let this happen. You don't have a choice, I said, heading for the door. The shareholders' meeting is tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I suggest you be there. Emma, wear something professional. As I walked to my car, I could hear Emma yelling and my father shouting. 5 years of planning, enduring their insults, and waiting for the right moment had led me here. Tomorrow, everything would change. The next morning, I arrived at the office early. The conference room was ready, with detailed reports showing how the company had struggled under my father's leadership. Sarah greeted me with coffee. They're already here, your family. Your dad's been trying to get into the conference room for an hour, she said. I smiled, taking the coffee. Good thing we changed the security codes last week. Are the board members here? They're all here, and the press is in the lobby. I hadn't invited the media, but news of Emma's disastrous presentation and rumors of a leadership change had leaked. Mitchell Industries was a major employer, so today's meeting would make headlines. Joe, the security guard, spoke through the intercom. Your dad is demanding to see you before the meeting. Let him in, I said, checking my watch. My father stormed in, red-faced with fury. This ends now, Olivia. I don't know what game you're playing, but I'm still CEO. Actually, I said, pushing a document toward him, you're not. The board voted yesterday, but you'd know that if you checked your emails instead of focusing on damage control for Emma's presentation. He grabbed the paper, his hands trembling. This is ridiculous. I built this company. Grandfather built it, I corrected. You inherited it, and then nearly ruined it with poor management. The shareholders are fed up. Shareholders? He scoffed. I own the majority of shares. Not anymore, I said, opening my laptop. Would you like to see how many shares you've lost over the years? How many people sold because they lost faith in your leadership? His face drained of color as he stared at the screen. Stanley's shares, but he promised. And I've kept them in trusted hands, I said quietly. I've spent 5 years learning this business from the ground up, unlike your chosen successor. Emma has potential. Emma has entitlement. She proved it to the industry at that conference. Our stock dropped 15% in 1 hour, because she couldn't even follow basic securities rules. He collapsed into a chair, looking old and defeated. Why didn't you tell me? If you were buying shares, why the secrecy? Would you have listened? When have you ever listened to me? Before he could respond, Emma burst into the room, followed by our mother. Fix this, Emma yelled. I've already made my plans for the company. I have a vision. Your vision crashed our stock price and broke SEC rules, I replied calmly. The only reason we're not under investigation is because I stayed up all night fixing the damage. That's not fair, Daddy, Tell her it's not fair. Our father just stared at the laptop. The shareholders' meeting starts in 30 minutes, I said. You can either act professionally or make a scene and get escorted out. It's up to you. Emma turned to our mother. Mom, say something. But our mother was looking around my office, really seeing it for the first time, the reports, the research, the years of work everywhere. Those early mornings, those late nights, she murmured, we thought you were just. Didn't think I could do it on my own? Didn't think I had ambition beyond being Emma's backup? I always knew you were smart, she said weakly, but business leadership, it's not really for women? I finished. Funny, that never applied to Emma. The intercom buzzed. Sarah's voice cut through the tension. The shareholders are arriving, Miss Mitchell. I grabbed my files. It's time. Are you I have plans. Your plans cost us millions in market value, I replied calmly. Please sit down or security will escort you out. She looked around for support. No one spoke, not even our mother, who avoided eye contact. When I opened the floor for the final vote on my appointment as CEO, the result was clear. The motion passed easily, with only my father and sister's minimal shares dissenting. As the room cleared, my father walked up to the podium. Olivia. Yes? He sighed, deflated. I underestimated you. Yes, I said simply. You did. I took my seat at my father's desk, now mine, and looked out at the city, ready to get to work. The first month as CEO was busy. The media was all over the story. Daughter's secret takeover saves family business was all over business magazines. I gave just one interview, focusing on the future of Mitchell Industries. As expected, my family reacted badly. Emma launched a social media campaign to play the victim, posting tearful Instagram stories about betrayal. She had to give up her BMW and move back in with our parents after she couldn't afford her luxury apartment. Your sister's devastated, my mother said during one of her guilt trips. She thought she had a future here. I looked up from the quarterly projections I was reviewing. She did have a future here. She just needed to earn it, like everyone else. But she's family. So am I replied calmly. That didn't stop you from taking my college fund. My mother flinched. That was different. Yes, it was. Because I did something about it. I turned back to my work. Now, if there's nothing else, I have a company to run. The changes I made were big but carefully thought out. First, I brought back the employees who had left due to Emma's mismanagement, including Jessica from marketing, who now led the department Emma nearly ruined. It's different now, Jessica said at a staff meeting. People feel valued based on what they do, not who they know. The company culture shifted fast. Merit-based promotions, open communication, and clear accountability became the new normal. The stock price went up as investor confidence returned. My father tried to challenge me once, calling an emergency board meeting to question my decisions. She's too inexperienced, he argued. She's making too many changes too fast. James Henderson, a senior board member, just laughed. Richard, in 1 month, your daughter has done more than you did in 5 years. The numbers speak for themselves. The reports backed me up, profits up 20%, employee retention improved, and client trust was restored. The vote to keep me as CEO was unanimous. Afterward, my father stayed behind in the boardroom. I still don't understand, he said quietly. How did you learn all this? I paid attention, I replied, gathering my papers. Every day for 5 years, while you focused on preparing Emma for a role she didn't deserve, I was learning, from the mailroom to the boardroom. The real question is, why didn't you notice? He didn't answer. 3 months into my new role, Stanley Wright, my father's old partner, came to see me. He wanted to talk. I've been following the news, he said, sitting in my office, the same office where my father had once dismissed my ambitions. You've done exactly what I hoped. The company needed change, I said simply. He smiled. Yes, but more than that, it needed someone who understood its true worth. Your grandfather built this company on values, hard work, merit, integrity. Your father forgot that. But you represent those values. I thought about the years of planning, the quiet work, and the patience. I had good teachers. Speaking of teachers. Stanley leaned forward. I hear you're starting a scholarship program. I nodded. The Mitchell Industries Future Leader Scholarship, full funding for employees' children who show academic excellence and work ethic. We've already selected our first 10 recipients. Your mother must love that, he said knowingly. I smiled. She called it wasteful. Said I should focus on family first. And what did you tell her? That I am focusing on family, the Mitchell Industries family. Every employee here is part of building our future. After Stanley left, I walked around the office, seeing how much had changed in 6 months. The atmosphere was lively but focused, with teams working together and projects. I didn't respond. Instead, I focused on our latest initiative, a partnership with local colleges to offer work-study opportunities for business students, real experience, earned through hard work. 6 months turned into a year. Mitchell Industries thrived under my leadership, expanding and gaining a reputation for innovation and excellence. My father's consulting business failed. He came to me, asking for a job. I have decades of experience, he said, sitting across from me. Yes, I agreed, but the company has changed. Are you willing to adapt? Will you report to younger managers? Will you earn respect, not demand it? He looked at me for a long time. You really have built something remarkable here. That night, as I left the office, I passed the company photo wall. My grandfather's portrait hung in the center, serious but kind. Now, there was a new photo, me, at the shareholders' meeting, becoming CEO. Sarah joined me. Your grandfather would be proud. Of the company? I asked. Of you, she corrected, for restoring what he built. I touched my grandfather's portrait. Merit over privilege, excellence over entitlement, that's what he believed in. And that's what you restored, Sarah said. Look at what it's built. I had saved the company, but more importantly, I had transformed it. Together, we watched employees heading home after a productive day. They walked with purpose, knowing their contributions were valued based on merit, not connections. This was my legacy, not just saving a company, but transforming it, creating a place where everyone could earn their success, just like I did. My phone buzzed, an email from the scholarship committee. Next year's applications were coming in, each one representing someone ready to work for their dreams. Just like I had, all those years ago, in the mailroom, preparing for the day I would earn my place at the top. The future was bright, built on merit, not manipulation, built on earning, not entitlement, built on justice, served not cold, but with unwavering principle.